Hello everyone and welcome to Infinite Realms, and yes, today is another haul video. Just doing a couple of these as I go. I mean, it's just like I'm filling in those gaps in my Marvel Legends collection. That's the primary goal here. And like I said, there's some holes and I'm filling them in, and one of the big ones was Storm. And I hesitate to tell this story because it's kind of a sad tale, but you know, the short of it is I got some, laid off from a job. There was some thumbs twiddling about, unemployment and all that, and basically I got to a point where I was broke as could get. It was after a bad divorce. Fortunately, I had a roof over my head that I owned, but you got to keep your power on. You got to eat, and there was this point I had to start selling my Legends off, and that's what I did. Now, since then, I've been slowly acquiring them back, and then gaining some as well. So, one of the big omissions in my reacquisition was Storm. Storm, love Storm, absolutely love Storm, and again, I'm a little unlike some people. I'm not a huge fan of that Jim Lee era, or the Jim Lee look. I mean, everybody goes for those Jim Lee looks, and I'm like, I'm not saying the guy didn't have some good designs. I mean, the Rogue's outfit was great, but not every design was a winner, and I think it's because I grew up with Storm always wearing black. I always thought of her in black. So in this black variant, when I really discovered this black variant, I was like, oh, I'm going to get it. And then, I had a hard time getting it. So I finally have it now. That, long story short, I have it now. And I thought, oh, this is my favorite outfit from Storm, except I got to looking around. She never actually wore this outfit. Now, she wore a variation of it for a time. It's not the same outfit, though. There's no gold stripe down it. So I gotta say, I really like this figure. I had some trouble standing her up, and then my wife pointed out, with the big hair, you gotta push the boobs forward. So I pushed the boobs forward, and it worked. And, she said that's a woman trade secret. So guys, remember that when your figures are falling down and they got big hair, push the boobs forward. I really love the head sculpt. I think she looks fantastic. She's wonderful, wonderful, wonderful in my mind. The body they use on her is just phenomenal. She looks great. She poses great, and the lightning effects are really cool. I like that they went with blue ones on this instead of the typical yellow ones. That also appealed to me too. Yes, I like the blue. It just looks more natural than the yellow. And I know the comic and the cartoon always had a yellow, but for me it was this one, which looks like on the secondary market doesn't get as much appeal as the white costume. I guess that's nostalgia. I don't know. I don't know how to explain that. But I really like it. I think it's a great figure. I'm really going to go all the way and say 5 stars, and this is probably going to always be my favorite Storm at this point. I just think she looks great, and I'm glad to see her back in my collection. Okay, for some comparison, I put Cyclops up against Storm. I always thought Storm would win in a fight like this, but yeah, it's not a very exciting pose or anything. I didn't really take the time to pose them out. I just wanted to do something where you could see the two beside each other and kind of get an idea how they compare. Now, moving on, we have Scarlet Witch. Scarlet Witch is a character who's actually never been in my collection before. Primarily because I didn't like any of the figures they did for her. What I do like about this one, and this is not perfect by any means, I like that they went with those old colors of pink and red. And my wife said these are ugly as can be, and I said, but this is what she looked like, and I do like this character. So I did like it. I do like the spell effects, even though we've seen them a million times, but they're cool. I like them. I mean, they work with here. I like that she's got sort of that flame effect behind them, which gives it a little more life. Now, if I had to gripe about one thing about this character, it's that head sculpt, and it bothered me. It's been bothering me. I don't know what it is. And then I finally realized I think too much hair is coming out from underneath the I always called it the crown, and I don't know what, you know, it's not a beret, it's, you know, I don't know what you would call it, but I think too much hair is coming down out there, and that might be my issue. So it's one minor issue. Everything else about the figure is fantastic. I mean, I'm just gonna say that. So for Wanda here and her vision, play on words. Yeah, okay, stupid joke. Sorry, sue me. You two people doing stupid jokes. How dare you? But for Wanda, I'm going to give 4 stars. She's not my favorite character, but I do like her. I hate that they make her go crazy all the time, but you know, what can I do about that? Nothing. So 4 stars, really good figure. Really like it. And next we have Tigra. Now, this one's confusing me a little bit because Tigra, you know, you had just now Scarlet Witch in the West Coast Avengers logo. There was a White Vision in the West Coast Avengers logos, but Tigra is in the Tigra logo. And to me, she really was one of the biggest characters. She was a founding member of the West Coast Avengers, and I think she was in it through most of the run. I don't think she was in the last issue, but she was in it most of the run. I do remember that. And she was kind of flirting around with Hank Pym. And I do like this figure. I like, you know, how the tail is, you know, it is articulated, but there's no wire or anything. But you can still do little poses like this little coquettish pose right here, which is like, hey, I got a tail, you know, hey, baby. Yeah, and I'm sure somebody's going to go the wrong way with that. I'm like, yeah, but anyhow. I do like this figure. She also has a swappable head. It looks like her there for a little while. I thought they were going to make her another Wolverine. They would have her basically being upset about, you know, almost losing her temper to the point of, you know, berserker rage, quote unquote. And that seemed very Wolverine-esque, and it was getting annoying. I'm glad, as far as I can tell, I'm glad they didn't go full stock with it. I mean, it was just a touch of it once in a while, and that was it. She also comes with 2 fists I didn't put on because I just like those fingers. And you know, character I kind of, Tigra was always one of those characters that I was like, I liked, but I didn't love at the same time. So, again, she looks great. I'll give her 4.5 stars easy. That's just a really good figure. I love the colors. I mean, she's bright. I mean, it's just nice, spot on. So next up is the Julia Carpenter version of Spider-Woman. I really like this figure. I really like what they did with the texture with the hair and the wash and everything. It just brings out more detail. And I always was like, I thought Julia was a very interesting character. I think what turned people off to her was what I found interesting. But, you know, in her time in West Coast Avengers especially, she was a single mom with a daughter, going through a hard time, you know, and it goes through all the stuff that parents go through. And I don't know, you know, that's right in that. Well, we got to get all grim and gritty, and even though all of our guys wear bright colors, we got to do that. And, you know, because Rob Liefeld and Jim Lee told us we had to. And, you know, that was kind of the thing at that point. So there were some attempts at some different stories that kind of fell flat, and Spider-Woman's was one. I had a fondness for Spider-Woman. I thought she was cool. I really thought she had an interesting storyline, and that it should have been expanded upon, and I think it got shoved under the rug because people reacted to it. I do remember a couple of letters in Avengers West Coast that were not too favorable of it, and I was like, well, why? You know, I mean, this is reality. Hello. But this figure's pretty good. I mean, you know, she's obviously the Julia Carpenter version. She's got the hand with the psi webs. You know, and I think a lot of people didn't like the psi webs either. It's like, what the hell is psi webs? And I kind of dug them. They were kind of interesting. They gave her powers that were similar to Spider-Man's, but it wasn't Spider-Man's powers. That's what I agree with. So again, you know, I was dug Julia. I'll give this one 4 stars. I think she should have had, again, another case of should have had some more accessories, some more stuff going on. But you know, at least 2 hands with the psi webs. Got this one way under what would have been retail at the time. Again, looks like she's still not appealing to a wide audience. I'm sorry, Julia. I don't know what's going on there. But you know, I'm still a fan. So count me along as a fan. So for comparison, a blast from the past: Black Costume Spider-Man and Julia Carpenter, otherwise better known as the Spider People in Secret Wars. And yes, I know this is the second time I've left Wolverine laying in the corner. I probably shouldn't have done that, but whoopsie. And no, I hadn't forgotten to do some comparisons with the others. I was just waiting to do some West Coast Avengers action. And I think this looks really cool. Of course, I still need a Hawkeye, but hey, you know, it works. Why didn't I use Silver Centurion, Iron Man instead of Modular? You know, either one works. We both were in the West Coast Avengers at one point. So next up, we have Thundra. And who, you know, I'm sure the woke guys really reacted badly to this figure. I liked, she was in that Marvel 2-in-1 I mentioned. I've mentioned it a few times. It's really the comic I think cemented my love of superheroes, and she was in it, in a wrestling ring, and you know, Songbird's in that. That's her first appearance as Screaming Mimi as well. Doesn't say a thing, by the way. She's just kind of there. But yeah, she whips the crap out of a bunch of people, and so you know, this one will trigger a bunch of, you know, sensitive people. She's big woman from Femazonia in the far-flung future, and you know, her arch enemy is machismo. And this is one of those weird ones from the Fantastic Four where it's like, you know, they were just throwing stuff on the wall and seeing what stuck. And I always laughed at it, and I kind of dug this character because it was so funny. And I kind of do understand some people's rejection of her, but I thought it was hilarious, and I didn't know there was a figure of her. So when I saw this, I was like, oh. And you know, apparently she, you know, she didn't even get her own box art. She apparently shared it with Valkyrie, which is weird. But they had 2 separate parts of the Build-A-Figure, so it's like, why did you do that? That's so odd, and I didn't realize she was in the Hulkbuster wave at all. I somehow missed that when that was going on. You know, again, now that was a time when, you know, I was being forced to sell off not only Legends but a lot of my toy collection just to be able to eat. So, you know, it's easy. That would have been easy for me to miss. I barely even knew what was happening because I knew it would just break my heart. And it's only been within the past year or so I've been able to look at Marvel Legends again and look at, you know, my collection. Where is it at? What do I want? How do I want to do it? So, you know, again, this was one I was like, yeah, this is like what she's. I mean, it's unintentionally funny. Her whole story is unintentionally funny to me. And I mean, it's just, it's silly. Now she comes with a ball and chain. That's pretty cool. And again, you know, she's probably one of those gals that's gonna trigger somebody, but they can get over it. And I like the accessory. It does look cool. And she looks cool. She's really tall. Really tall figure. Of course she should be. Now, as far as this figure goes, I mean, I'll give it 4.5 stars. That's a good looking figure. I mean, she looks built, stacked, put together. Matches her comic appearance perfectly. And you know, the everything about her is just spot on. So yeah, easy 4.5 stars from me. I know some people probably will look at the character and go, no man, no. But again, it's one of those I think is unintentionally funny, and I just roll with it. And by the way, if you don't know a whole lot about Thundra, I would suggest, you know, go look it up. It is funny. I mean, it's trying to be serious, but it is funny. I remember having good laughs out of those storylines. And here you can see we compare Thundra with She-Hulk. Now, she's not quite as tall as She-Hulk, but then again, she doesn't need to be. But she's very much tall, or taller than the average woman, which is represented by Rogue here, which I think actually Rogue's a little short, but that's okay. And here's Thundra with the one-time love of her life, Ben Grimm. She actually pursued him because she thought he was the pinnacle of manhood. Must procreate with him. And I think, ironically, later, if I'm not mistaken, she had a kid with Hulk, which was odd, to say the least. But yeah, okay, sure. Okay, so like I said, Thundra came out at a time where I was kind of, I won't say I was out of my Marvel Legends, I just was broke. And this is a wave that's pretty interesting, I have to say. I need a War Machine. I need an updated War Machine badly. So that's one. I don't have a Marvel Now Iron Man, which is funny because they call it Marvel Now and it was Marvel yesterday. I do like that Vision. That Vision's nice. Not so keen on that Doctor Strange. I never liked that outfit on Doctor Strange. Blizzard is another one that I could use because I like Blizzard. We could talk about Thundra, and then Valkyrie is another figure that kind of... I knew Valkyrie was around. I didn't know about Thundra, though. That was kind of weird. So, you know, that's it. I may pursue this wave again, some more of this wave. The thing is I got to looking at the arm with Thundra here, and I don't know. It's just, it looks like preschool plasticky Hulk for Hulkbuster there. I mean, I have no way else of describing it. It's just, it looks very childish plastic, and that, I don't know, I don't think that's gonna work for me. I went back and looked at it 2 or 3 times, and it's still the same. It still has that same vibe to me, like some kind of play school toy. So I don't think I'm going to be pursuing the Build-A-Figure in this wave. I have looked a few places. I noticed some big tags on Vision, so that makes me think, oh boy, I'm going to miss the boat on this one. So we'll see, though. Next up is Heather Hudson herself, Vindicator. Now, okay, so you might be wondering why I would get Vindicator. Well, you know, I do like Alpha Flight. I like Alpha Flight a lot. And most of the time I read Alpha Flight, Heather was in charge. Her husband had died in issue 12. He didn't come back, I think, until almost issue 90 or somewhere around there. And so that was most of the time I read Alpha Flight. And you know, Alpha Flight is a strange animal because it's like it started out with John Byrne in the X-Men, and then it kind of went to its own thing. Then John Byrne was going to write it, and then he decided not to, and then it kind of got written by other people, and then it went in weird directions. And it got a little confusing, but it was still very entertaining. It was a fun superhero read, and I really enjoyed it in those times. enjoyed Heather in those times, so kind of got a fondness for her. You know, I like her as a character. And she also has an articulated ponytail, which is kind of fun. Now, she came from the Alpha Flight box set. I don't want that whole set. There's only a few I want out of that because of various reasons. And I'm not going to get into them too much, other than, you know, there's some, you know, I like some characters of Alpha Flight and I don't like some others, and I don't feel like I need the whole team. And that might sound strange. I get you. I got you. It's alright. But, you know, some of the members of the team were not even around that much. So if we're not even around that much, why own the whole team? Heather, to me, was one of those that was around. And what's really cool is I got her kind of cheap. I mean, it would be under retail price of a Marvel Legend at the time, or now. So, you know, it was a good buy. I really enjoyed it. I would, you know, is she perfect? No. I wish there was some more shininess on the Canadian flag. The red had more sheen to it, maybe metallic. Of course, Vindicator doesn't have that either, so maybe that's the problem. There is some sheen to it, but it's more plasticky sheen. And it looks like they tried to go with a bit of a pearlescence on the white, which they did the same thing to Guardian. So yeah, that makes sense. For whatever reason, that they like put Guardian in the regular line, and then, you know, the rest of Alpha Fly has to get the special box set, except for Sasquatch, who's a Build-A-Figure. Okay, what have you? That's fine. But I do like Vindicator. She looks cool. I'll give her 4.5 stars. Again, this is my favorite leader of Alpha Flight. That's simple. It's that simple. It's just that. She's just my favorite leader of Alpha Flight. And of course, here is Vindicator hanging out with Wolverine because, well, who else would she be hanging out with besides Wolverine? Of course, this is X-Force Wolverine, so yeah, kind of a stretch. So up next is Firestar from, you guessed it, Spider-Man and her amazing friends. Oops. I guess I got woke or something. I don't know. Spider-Man and his amazing friends. Sorry. That was really a faux pas. That wasn't anything else. But, you know, here is Firestar. Always liked Firestar. She was made specifically for the show, but at the same time, I thought she was really cool. And when I got her out of the box, I did not realize this, but the background is all those little computer things that would pop up in the apartment, which I was always like, how'd they get around that with the landlord, huh? I mean, surely the landlord saw them bringing that crap in. Just always thought that was funny. Anyway, Angelica here comes, I mean, colors are great, spot on. You can't ask for anything else. She has two heads, one's flying and one's resting. Now the resting one I think looks really great. Looks like it comes out of the animated series. I noticed the flying head though doesn't have that. It doesn't have that red orange streaks that we see in the cartoon. And I'm wondering if that's kind of leaning towards the comic book a little bit more, because I don't remember her having that in the comic as much. I always did like it though. I mean, I thought it was really colorful and really nice. So, yeah, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Anyway, yeah. Again, Angelica's great. Looks great. She's got two sets of hands, but they're both the same as the one she's already got on. They're just for the other hand. So I'm not going to really mess with that too much. And she has these little fire effects that wrap around her hand. I think she could have came with more, but that's alright. I'm pretty happy with what we got as it is. And of course, the piece de resistance is we have Miss Lion. And I'm so much happier with this, and when Marvel Universe put out Miss Lion with Mary Jane, I was like, why? That doesn't make any sense. Put out a Firestar with Miss Lion, that makes more sense. Hell, if they put out a Spider-Man with Miss Lion, that would have made sense. If they put out an Iceman with Miss Lion, that would have made sense. Mary Jane does not make sense. Thank God it makes sense here, because Firestar, of course, has Miss Lion. That's great. Really like Miss Lion though. Really like Firestar. 5 stars on this one. You know, this was a little hard for me to get a hold of for a more retail-ish price, but I finally did. I think I spent $1 over retail, so not bad on my part, I think. You know, it was a hunt, but it worked out really well. So, alright, here's Spider-Man and his amazing friends. Oh, yeah, MCU Spider-Man. Whoops, well, how about this one? Yeah, okay, somewhere in MCU. This Spider-Man? Okay, yeah. So, you remember the beginning of the video I said I had to sell off a bunch. As it turns out, I did sell off my classic Spider-Man, and I need to pick one up very desperately. So I don't have a classic look Spidey at this point. Now, is that going to change? Probably. Can I tell you when it's going to change? No. I missed the retro carded one. There's thoughts crossing my mind to get the Spinneret one. The 2-pack with Spinneret. Grab that Spidey, sell Spinneret off, because I don't care about that character. I don't know. And there's the Amazing Fantasy one coming out this year too. A lot of decisions to make on my Spider-Man thoughts. So I'll let you know when I know. So yeah, here's this haul all together, and look at that, all women. Just now noticed that. Oh yes, it's ladies' night and it's feeling right. I know I said I wouldn't sing. I'm sorry. I'm sure somebody has some stupid beta cut remark towards me right now because I have all girls on a haul, but they can just go beat their head in a wall. I don't care. It's a nice haul. I like it. A lot of characters I were kind of on my B list, but still wanted. So that's pretty good haul to me. And I believe Firestar was the only thing I paid over retail for, and it's just $1 over. So that's not a bad haul at all. Well, that's going to wrap it up for Infinite Realms. Hope you guys had enjoyed this haul video, and don't forget to like and subscribe.